Okay, and one of the last topics we're going to discuss is going to be proportions. Um, we're going to look at solving algebraic proportions, and then we're also going to look at setting up proportions and solving them. Once again, this is a concept we already did this year. So your goal is to kind of figure out what y is. And so in order to figure out what y is, and sometimes your answer is to be a whole number, and sometimes a decimal, you're going to do cross multiplication, which also relates back to solving equations. So I'm going to have 12 times y equals 15 times 4. And if you don't know what 15 times 4 is, please take the time to multiply it off to the side, and you get 60. Okay, then I have 12 times y equals 16. Once again, this is 15 times 4. That's how I got that. You're going to undo the operation. So in order to undo multiplication, we're dividing both sides by 12. The 12s here cancel out, leaving me with y. And then 60 divided by 12 is 5. That's my solution. Okay, moving on to the next one. I'm once again solving for x. So I'm going to cross multiply 8 times x equals, make it sure you have an equal sign, 16 times 7. So 8 times x is 8x. 16 times 7, once again I'm going to take it off to the side. 2, and I get 4. 7 times 1 plus 4 is 11. Get 112. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 8 to get x alone. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. So I have x here. 112 divided by 8. Okay, so I have 8 goes into 11 once. Dropped my 2 down. 8 goes into 32 4 times. And it works out evenly, so x equals 14. Okay, so once again, when I'm solving these proportions, I'm figuring out I can plug 14 back into x to make my proportion true, to make it equal. All right, and then I'm going to set up my own. So I have a word problem, and I'm going to set up a proportion, meaning I'm going to have two fractions that equal to each other in order to solve this particular problem. So Dion spent $28 on 2 DVDs. At this rate, how much would he spend on 5 DVDs? So first of all, I'm going to define the variable. So I'm going to say x. And x is going to represent what I'm trying to solve for. How much would it cost? So I'm talking about how much is going to cost. So cost of 5 DVDs. Okay, over here I have very important information and information I need to use in order to solve the problem. I know if I spend $28, I'm going to buy 2 DVDs. So I'm going to put 28 over 2. $28 over 2 DVDs. Now I don't know the cost of the 5 DVDs, so I'm going to put an X up here because the $28 represented the cost of 2. X is going to represent the cost of 5. So I know that they are sharing what they represent in terms of cost. And then on the bottom I'm going to put 5 DVDs because I'm trying to figure out the cost of 5 DVDs. Okay? There's another way to do this, and I'll show you that in a moment. So I'm going to cross multiply and solve so I can get x alone. So 2 times x is 2x. 28 times 5, I'm going to work out off to the side. Whoops. What am I thinking here? Let's drop this down. So 8 times 5 is 40. 5 times 2 is 10 plus 4 is 14. Okay. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So 140 divided by 2. 2 goes into 14 7 times. 2 goes into 0. 70 times. Oh my goodness. So I get 70. X equals 70 now. So that means that the price of 5 DVDs is $70. That's what that represents. Now another way to think of it is if 2 DVDs cost $28, we can find the unit rate of it, meaning I can find the cost per 1 DVD. So I'm going to divide this guy over here by 2, and we've talked about this already this year as well, and I get 1 DVD. Half of 28, or 28 divided by 2, is 14. So the price of 1 DVD is $14. So if I want to find the price of 5 DVDs, I could take 14, because it's how much 1 DVD costs, and I could multiply that by 5. And you would get the same amount, $70. So that's 2 different ways to use proportions, and in this case a unit rate, to solve for an unknown value. Okay? So on these problems, I want you to focus on cross multiplying and solving, and when you come to a problem where you have to set up a proportion, really focus on comparing the same things. So money to money, DVDs to DVDs. You should be comparing the same things as the numerators and the same things as denominators. That's how you set up a proper proportion. Okay? All right, once again, if you have questions, make sure you're asking. However, we really want you to focus on watching, understanding what you know, reviewing, and working with your group in order to come to conclusions on how to show your work and do these questions properly. All right, thank you.